G'day everybody, Sean from Bourbon Brothers here. Rye July, our second tasting video. We're looking at the bottled in bond Rittenhouse Rye. The Rittenhouse Rye, it's a straight rye out of Heaven Hill. Comes in at 100 proof, being a bottled in bond, doesn't carry an age statement. Mash bill 51% rye, 37% corn and 12% malted barley. Rittenhouse Rye is produced in the tradition of the classic Pennsylvania or Monongahela rye, which are believed to have had spicier and fruitier flavour profiles. This style is said to be a high rye mash bill, consisting of 80 to 100% rye grain. Ironically, Rittenhouse is a low rye at 51%, which is typical of the modern Kentucky rye mash bill. This is a bottled in bond rye. To be labelled bottled in bond, the whiskey must be the product of one distillation season, one distiller at a single distillery, aged in federally bonded warehouse under US government supervision for at least 4 years, and it must be bottled at exactly 100 proof. Additionally, the bottled in bond label must clearly identify the distillery where it was distilled and where it was bottled if that's different. By virtue of there only being two mainstream bottled in bond ryes in the market, the other being the E.H. Taylor straight rye, Rittenhouse automatically becomes slightly unique. However, where it distinguishes itself is the fact that this is one of the fruitier mainstream ryes in the market. While hints of rye spice try to surface in the palate and finish, I can't think of any other broadly distributed rye that packs this much fruit in the overall flavour profile. Similar to the Woodford Reserve Rye, which is another rye that has a non-typical flavour profile and low rye in the mash bill, some might be surprised by what they find during their first sip. This is especially true if one bought this rye expecting to find a more spicier and hotter rye flavour profile found in modern day ryes. That being said, while Woodford Reserve Rye leans more towards a typical bourbon flavour profile, Rittenhouse Rye still grounds itself as a rye, just one that's very fruit forward. As a result, this might be appealing to bourbon drinkers looking to begin an exploration into ryes, as it does not have the intense spice many other modern day ryes offer. We've gone through the Heaven Hill distillery in depth in previous videos. Check out some of our others like the Elijah Craig videos if you'd like to know more about the Heaven Hill distillery. So that's a bit of the background of the Rittenhouse. Let's give it a shot. Nice copper colour on it. And medium legs, reasonable, not too bad. So that nose, it's a nice mixture of fruit and grain that are immediately noticeable. There's some dried bananas and light peaches that are mixed with hints of the malty grains there. It reminds me of a bowl of breakfast oatmeal in the sense that it's a pleasing scent, but one that's very mellow and light. Surprisingly, it's not very spicy at all. The peaches and the dried bananas from the nose carry over, and they're now nicely mixed with white pepper and a dash of spice. While the pepper and spice mixture is nice, it's far from being your typical bold spicy rye flavour profile, which you see with a lot of the modern day ryes. Instead, it's more on the mellow fruity end. Additionally, Rittenhouse Rye doesn't have a heavy mouthfeel. However, it's also not light by any means. It's a really nicely balanced rye overall. On that finish, you get a bit of leather, lightly charred oak and a light peach, along with the pepper and a dash of classic rye spice that are all there and they're all noticeable. While there's a pleasant dash of the heat up front, it's not overly hot and not overly spicy. Dried fruit and white pepper linger for a while on the back of the end of the finish. While the finish is definitely on the shorter side, and I wish it lasted longer, it's still very enjoyable. If you're searching for a bold, spicy rye, you won't find it here. However, if you have an open mind to a more mellow, fruitier rye, you've come to the right place. Additionally, for individuals who usually drink bourbon, but are just exploring ryes, this is a nice bridging rye that helps you start to explore the worlds of rye without jumping straight into the bolder, spicier ones. Rittenhouse Rye may start with a little bit of a weaker nose, but it pulls through with a pleasant palate and finish. The fruit mixes nicely with the light pepper and heat and provides a really easy to drink rye. Combined with the fact that this drink's lower than its 100 proof leads you to believe I found myself drinking this quicker than I thought I would. Sure, it's not mind-blowing, but you can find this rye out there in the stores. and it can be enjoyed either neat, straight up, or in a cocktail. And it makes it a really great, versatile rye that's worth trying. I hope you enjoyed the Rittenhouse, and I hope you're enjoying your journey. Cheers. Monongahela. It's a hard word. Do you want to look at it?
No, that's terrible.
Monongahela. Good luck with this. Rittenhouse rye is produced in the tradition of the classic Pennsylvania. Oh, it's Pennsylvania. The practicing Mongol, whatever the thing is. Right. Monongahela. Don't put that in.
I'm putting it in.
Please don't put it in.
I'm putting it in.
It's a hard word.
It is. Still funny.